We're just going to get started. If you are joining us right now, welcome to today's workshop on public speaking. I'm so excited to have all of you here for today's masterclass. Please settle in, grab yourself a pen and paper. I'm sure that today's masterclass is going to be really, really powerful. So whether you're just starting out on your public speaking journey, maybe it's something that you have been thinking for a while, but haven't really dived into it. Or maybe you have already been a speaker for a while and you just want to refresh your memory and land more speaking opportunities. In today's masterclass, I will be covering some of my own secrets of how I land public speaking opportunities, how I have been able to position myself as an expert and continuously get invited to speak on global stages, and also how can you position yourself as an expert and land more speaking opportunities. So as we're getting settled in, what I'd love for you to do is leave a comment. Let us know where in the world you are. If you have already got a speaking experience, maybe you have taken stages, so let me know where on your speaking journey you are. I do have some slides and I encourage you to stay till the end because I want to share some information on how you can become a speaker at the Women Thrive Summit. Now, this masterclass is a little introduction before the main event. We have the main event, which is the Women Thrive Summit happening next week, which is 21st to the 26th of March. And over the last few months, we have been curating amazing lineup of speakers. So this is really a passion of mine to grow communities, to create communities for female entrepreneurs, business owners, coaches, mentors, authors, and those who really want that support around their businesses. I have myself been in business for more than 10 years. And during the pandemic, we had to turn our live events into virtual events. So in 2020, we created the Women Thrive Summit, which has now become our annual event. And I'm so excited because if you have signed up for this masterclass, that means you also have a ticket to the Women Thrive Summit, which means all of next week you can access live talks by our amazing speakers and experts. I take at least 3 months to curate this event and handpick amazing speakers for this event. So I know you're going to be having an amazing time. I want to see you in the comments. Let me know where in the world you are, what kind of business you have, and I will be giving you a quick shout out before we begin. I just want to make sure that as people are joining, that we give opportunity for people to come into the room, because I know we're all busy, we all got our lives, but I hope you dedicate this 1 hour to yourself. Have yourself a pen and paper. Make sure you spend a bit of time reflecting, because we'll be going through some steps and ideas of how you can prepare yourself for public speaking. I share a little bit about my story, because the journey I have gone through myself, I haven't always been a speaker. I haven't, in fact, always had the confidence. At some stage in my life, I actually lost my voice and I couldn't speak. So where I am today is so far from where I have been maybe 10 years ago, or even 7 years ago. I could not speak. Literally, you could not force me to do a live. So what I do today in terms of hosting events, training speakers, creating these global impact events and summits is so far from what I have ever even dreamed in my wildest dreams that I had, that in my vision, that I would ever do this. So we have Alexandra Hill. I'm a writer, coach, and a speaker, and I want to become even better. That's amazing. Diana's here. Hi, beautifuls. Just starting on a speaker journey, but I'm used to being on stage and speaking in groups and communities, and I'm based in the UK. Great to see you. So please leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you are. Really curious, because actually, originally I am from Lithuania, and I have spent 20 years living in London. So initially I was an immigrant, so coming from Lithuania as a 13, 14-year-old girl, I didn't even speak English. I didn't really have a clue of what I wanted to do. But over those years, I went to school, university, done so many amazing things. And I started my entrepreneurial journey when I was just 21. I was really inspired by stories of other people who have gone before me. And I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to create life where, as a woman, I could choose my own way of working. So that has inspired me to start my own business. Initially, I started a business in sustainability. And in the last 5 years, I've been hosting women events. And genuinely, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. And over the last few years, I've been so lucky to surround myself with really amazing women who have this, share the same vision and same passion for women empowerment, for creating impact, for using our skills, our stories to do something good in this world. So I'm super blessed to be where I am today, and I certainly don't take it for granted of, the things that we all had to, well, personally, what I had to go through in order to be where I am today. And as a speaker, I just want to say something that as a speaker, the things that you have gone through, the stories and experiences that you have gone through, maybe there has been some painful experiences that you had to endure. These are going to be the stories that will create deeper connection with your audience. Now, every time when I interview speakers for our summit, sometimes a speaker would come to our interview and they would give me a very shallow or just very on a surface story of who they are and what their passion is. And because I've been doing events and speaking to so many amazing women over the years, I kind of have this knack of digging a little deeper. So today I invite you to dig a little deeper into your story. What is your origin story? My origin story is that I started, I was an immigrant girl when I came to the United Kingdom. My parents used to work for very low wage and we couldn't speak English, right? So I had to overcome so many things in my teenage years and adopt a whole new language, whole new country, and build a dream. When I came to United Kingdom, I didn't think that I could even finish university or school. In fact, when I came to the UK, I started working at the age of 14, never even thinking that I could finish education because at that time, it wasn't something that was accessible to us. But I managed to find a school, managed to enroll into it and start on this journey. So that's sort of my origin story, but it has been many things that has happened over the years, and I will be sharing a little bit about that. So we got Dee here, just started on a speaking journey based in the United States. Amazing. Diana, oh, and my business. I'm a singer, songwriter, sound healer, speaker, coach, and so much more than can fit in this box. Yes, we as women, we can't just define ourselves by one thing. I might say, I'm an event host, I'm a founder of this or that, but really, I'm a woman. I'm a woman who's been through many ups and downs in this life. And now I live my passion. And now I'm actually, I've changed my life around last year and now I live in Spain. So having spent 20 years in the United Kingdom, now I live my dream lifestyle. And it might sound cliche as people, go and live their dream life. But it wasn't a positive change in my life at the time that I had to make. I had to walk out of a very difficult, toxic relationship, and I found myself living on the beach. And this is where I managed to heal myself and find my true purpose and step into really the heart space that I am in now to serve and support other women. Amazing, Alexandra. I am Empty Nest Life Coach. I help moms navigate through the next season of their life. I'm currently a coach and I'm writing a book to help empty nest moms. I want to host in-person events and I live in now in Colorado. Amazing. So keep those comments coming. If you have any questions throughout, please let me know. I will start the slides. I was wondering whether I should do the slides or not, but I just want to stay on track. One, I want to make sure that we have value. I don't just run webinars or trainings where it's all fluff. I want you to walk away with something practical here. So as we go through, I may stop the slides, I may ask you some questions throughout. I want you to ask me questions. And if you feel like it, I can actually bring you up on stage and you can ask me a question right here on video as well, if you feel like it, all right? No pressure. Lauren says, I'm starting a podcast and it's all about elevating people's voices by sharing their personal journey, wisdom, and life lessons. Powerful. And I love that. And I know we all have personal reasons of why we want to do public speaking. For me, one of the reasons why I want to do speaking, and I've been hosting events for more than 5 years, and I never really knew why this was so important to me. Until last year, I enrolled into a program to learn more about public speaking because I really wanted to take this to that next level. Yes, I've been hosting events for a very long time and speaking on stages and speaking on summits and events, but I never realized why this was such an important part to what I do. So I remember when I enrolled in a program with Mr. Les Brown last year, I think it happened around February last year. And on one of the first sessions, he was asking me to do my introduction, and I was doing my introduction to him. And then Mr. Les Brown said to me, "But Raimonda, why do you want to speak?" And at that moment, it was this question which pierced much deeper below the surface. The very thing that I do with speakers, I go deep with them. So I said to Mr. Les Brown, I said, "Mr. Les Brown, I want to speak because I know what it's like to lose a voice." And he looked at me and said, "Tell me more." So I shared my story, and this was a room of probably 100 people in a webinar like this, and I could see all their faces. And I never really gone that deep. I never really asked myself this question until he asked me this question of, why do you want to speak? Why is it important to you? And realizing that back in my 20s, I had a very difficult experience with a relationship that was very toxic and almost not physically abusive, but emotionally abusive and manipulative. And it was really traumatic for me. So the last few days' experience in this relationship has hurt me so much that at the end, I felt so humiliated and so hurt and crushed through the whole experience that actually I couldn't speak. And this experience has led me to feeling like I've lost my identity, like I've lost any belief in myself, and I lost my voice, and to the point where I would avoid anything to do with speaking, even on the phone or family or friends or going out, so I didn't have to speak. And this carried on for 2 years, where I felt shame and guilt and self-judgment, and I would look in the mirror and say, look in the mirror and ask myself, who are you? Please speak. And this deep pain within, at that moment, I said, I want to forever forget this story. I want to forever forget this moment in my life that it ever happened. But when I was faced with that question of, why do you want to speak? That most painful experience came back to surface. And what I realized that through us facing our most difficult moments in our lives, through us going through bad experiences that maybe have taught you a lesson, maybe the moments in your life, and I want to invite you to reflect back at moments in your life that was the most difficult moments, pivotal moments that made you change something about yourself. Maybe the moments where you were knocked down the hardest, right? When I interviewed our speakers, I hear them tell me stories about being homeless, being raped, being emotionally, physically abused, or going through very traumatic experiences. And those are the things that did not break us down, made us who we are today. So it may have taken me 6 or 7 or 8 years to heal that wound and find my voice again. So many years later, I realized that that moment in my life has given me purpose to become a speaker. This has given me the purpose to now train other people, because on my journey, since I started to share that story, and I've written a best-selling co-authored book on this topic, that when we go through these traumatic experiences, it shapes us, but then it gives us purpose, because now I can connect with other people, especially women, who may have lost their voice, who may have don't have the confidence to speak. Maybe women who've been told to shut up and not to speak and not to be more than who we are. If you've ever been told that you should stay in your lane, you should not speak up, these are social conditionings and things around us that wants to keep us small. But I encourage you today, and especially if you're joining the summit next week, I encourage you to rise. I encourage you to rise to your power. And I encourage you to own your story, because your story is your gold dust, is the thing that you have gone through, but now able to use that story to elevate others, to connect with your audience on a much deeper level. And I'm sure you've been in situations, maybe parties or dinner parties, where the conversation is very on the surface, very shallow. This is who I am, right? And when you're having those conversations, you're like, okay, I'm going to sit here and listen, but there is no deep connection. And what happens when you pull someone to the side and you get to know that person, because partially I'm actually an introvert. I might be an extrovert when I have to do events, but actually I'm an introvert. So I connect with people much better one-on-one. So I love to pull people onto the side and say, tell me more about yourself. And this is where those conversations starts to happen, when you get to know the people sitting opposite you, when they start to share their personal stories, when they start to take off their mask and share something personal with you. And this is where you realize, right? This is where you realize that actually this person is so beautiful. They have been through some difficult things. They have had to overcome some things to be here, and we feel inspired, we feel connected. And this is how powerful your story is, because when you're able to use experiences that you have been through, traumatic things that you may have experienced, and share it not just with one person, but actually share it on stage. Share it with a virtual audience or live audience, or do a live or do a talk or do an interview, and you're able to go there. You're able to go deeper without fear, without shame, without guilt. In order for me to become a speaker, and in order for me to be able to share my story, I had to go through that mindset work, and I had to shed those things like fear, guilt, and shame. Because these are the things that keeps us small. These are the things when we think about, well, what are people going to think about me? How are people going to judge me, right? These are the things that prevents us from actually sharing our story. And if you want to create much deeper connection, you want to tap into that story. And it may be a process. And for a lot of us, going into those painful situations in our lives is a painful process. But I invite you to do that. And if you join us next week, you will find that most of the speakers will use some part of their personal story to invite you to get to know them. Because this has been done intentionally, because I want you to get to know each speaker on that below the surface level. It's not about what I know and what I can tell you today, but it's about the connection that we create. Is the feeling and the energy that you feel from me, because the things that I can teach you, it's only a 10% of what you're going to retain. But the feeling that you get from us being in this room right now and you listening to my words, it's more about the connection than it's just about the learning. So I'll tell you more about during this masterclass in terms of the practicalities of speaking and the things that you may want to have. But genuinely, I just wanted to create this space for us to connect. So I want to just read your comments. I see them coming in, and I keep inviting you to make sure you share in the comments. Margarita, hi there from Portugal. Thank you so much, Rwanda, for this webinar. My experience is similar to yours. I arrived in South Africa as an immigrant yet refugee from Mozambique at the age of 13. I'd only had 1 year of English at school. Now I live back here and I was born and I'm self-employed English teacher and a translator, wondering how speaking could help me expand my business. Thank you, Diana. Thank you for sharing your story. Angel, inspiring and moving. This is exactly why I do what I do. Such a beautiful energy. Thank you so much. I believe many women go through similar situations and lose their voices. Yes. And my mission is really to help others to find your voice, find the purpose in your story. And as you said, we feel alone and we isolate ourselves in our own stories. And we think, nobody has been through what I have been through. Only when, and I didn't know actually anybody else has lost voice due to trauma. And I remember the first time I shared it was in Les Brown's group, but the second time I shared it was on a live. I just decided to go all vulnerable and do a live and talk about this experience. And as I was sharing my story about losing my voice, a lady reached out to me. She was in the comments. She's like, I can't believe you've been through this. She reached out in DM. And this was Carolina. Carolina is now actually on our summit. She is a speaker on our summit. But she said, I can't believe you went through that, because I've also been through the same journey. So as you share your story, you're able to invite other people who have been through similar situations and create commonalities, right? Create that connection. If I can relate to you, I want to keep hearing from you. I want to keep hearing how you overcome that story. So your story is not unique, and I want you to develop different parts of your stories, because there are stories maybe like Margarita, who came, who is also a refugee, or sorry, an immigrant. My apologies. Or women who have been through different traumas. So this is how you use your story to attract your audience. Yes, give me those deep soul tingling conversations. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to go on to share my slides, and I really don't want this to get boring. There's some practical things in there I want to share with you. But I want to stay engaged in the chat. I want to make sure you're asking questions, but I also want to go through some of the practical things. So this introduction was not really planned, but I wanted to make that connection with you ladies today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So these are just my Canva slides, and hopefully I still be able to grab your chat. Let me see if I can get your chat up. Okay, I'm not sure if I can see your chat at the minute, but I'll keep coming back to make sure that I see it. So how to become an international speaker and get speaking opportunities every week. So this is where you may want to grab your pen and paper, write some ideas, whatever comes up for you during this session. I want you to write it down, some stories, some ideas, some nuggets, some bits of inspiration. So let's get started. So today's agenda is to help you prepare for speaking opportunities. It's so important to be prepared as a speaker. I see many speakers come to our stage and they want to be speakers, but when I look deeper within, they're not quite ready or positioned. I want to share a little bit more how to connect with event organizers and pitch yourself as a speaker. And actually, you're already taking the first step, because you are here, you are attending my workshop, which means you also registered for the summit. So I invite you to be part of events. And when you attend events, you get to know what the organizer is like, what they're looking for, and hopefully next year you get to feature on one of our events. And how to leverage your existing network and opportunities for more. So tell me in the comments, tell me yes if you're looking to share your story and impact the world with your story. I think for me it's so important, the impact part. How do you want to impact the world with your story? That's so important, because if you know the impact that you want to have, you will find the story, you will find the angle in which you can use in order to create that connection with your audience. Are you looking to become a sought after speaker, right? My goal is to develop speakers to becoming authorities in their field, to becoming sought after speakers. So you get speaking engagements, and at some stage, you don't need to keep pitching yourself because these opportunities come to you. I want you to position yourself as an expert, because speaking opportunities and being seen on stage immediately positions you as the expert, right? And there are ways to generate revenue from speaking as well. And I think if you're going to go on this journey and get to that level where you're being sought after speaker, where events desire you on their stages, you also want to start generating revenue. That's whether you're being paid as a speaker or selling your programs, your books, your coaching on stage or through stage. So did you know that public speaking can actually help you reach a whole new audience? Because when you speak on somebody else's stage, this is an audience you didn't know before. You can build your expert status because immediately it positions you as the expert in the industry, and you want to look at your industry events. You can attract better clients, right? Better clients because people have seen you on stage. They're already feeling inspired. They're already bought into your story. And opportunities and media exposure. So you want to start to attract more opportunities, whether it's collaborations, partnerships, speaking opportunities, clients. There are so many things that come out as a result of you being seen on stage. So would you like to become a more powerful speaker and reach the ears and hearts and souls of people worldwide? And I say this with intention. You want to reach their ears. You want to reach their hearts and their souls. Because when you truly speak from the heart and you become a powerful speaker, an intentional speaker, you can reach people worldwide. It doesn't end with the stage that you're speaking on. And this is how. With the power of public speaking, your name will be mentioned in rooms where your feet have not stepped into yet. And I encourage you to take a screenshot of this. And I'll share a little story. Because what happens when you are on stage and you share your story from the heart and there is connection with your audience, you go through storytelling techniques and you share who you are and your passion for what you do, you make a connection with the audience. Now, through our events, I am a big fan of putting on first-time speakers on stages. And what I have realized that first-time speakers actually make much bigger impact because they're sharing from a place of vulnerability. They still feel a bit nervous. It's the first time doing it. And it's so, so powerful. And I know that a few months later, when I speak to people who have attended that event, they would recite the stories of the women seen on our stage. So that means that when you leave the stage or when you are on stage, it doesn't end there. Your story will get told many times over and reach more ears than you even can reach yourself. Because that is the power of storytelling. Your story could be told around a dinner table. Maybe there's going to be two girlfriends who meeting up for coffee, catching up and saying, hey, I've seen this girl, or this woman last week on this event, and she shared a story of how she went through this. And I can't believe that actually this is what I got away from it, right? Or if you really make an impact with an event organizer, that event organizer will tell others that your talk was that powerful and this speaker is one to watch out for. So this is the power of your speaking when you become a true speaker and you're able to share your story in a way that connects the ears, the hearts, and the souls of your audience. Your name will be mentioned in the rooms that your feet have not stepped into. And this is your chance to take a screenshot, and I'd love for you to tag me on social media at Women in Business Club or Raymonda. Grab my name, Raymonda Jan. Tag me and I will make sure to reshare your stories on our page. So who am I? So I am as you know, Raimonda Yanquilite, and the founder of the Women in Business Club and Women Thrive Summit. We also have Women Thrive Magazine, and we're in the process of building a media platform because my mission doesn't end here to create stages for women to just speak on. I want to see women sharing their stories, elevating ourselves, getting it out there, because the media right now is not really built to celebrate women and get their stories out into the media. So I want to change that. This is my goal, to create a platform where every single woman and her story can be heard, seen, read, because that's what we deserve. You have a powerful story. Your story is just as powerful as another woman who may be featured on this stage on, Women Thrive Summit. You could be here next week. You could be here next year sharing your story. You're probably building your own stage right now, as many of you have said. So I've been a serial entrepreneur for 10 years. And I love to talk about business visibility. So your personal brand, your visibility. I love to mentor people in speaking and do some business coaching now. I really enjoy that. I love to see the transformation that I can have when I touch people's lives. So here are just some of the live events that we have done. We started from London. 2017 was our first event. And we usually hold events that are quite intimate. So usually 100 people events in London. And like I said, before the virtual summit started, actually we were planning our global expansion. We had an event plan in Atlanta, LA, New York City, Ibiza, and London in 2020. And of course, the pandemic hit. And during that moment when the pandemic hit, I was wondering what to do. Should I just throw in the towel and throw away the 3 months that I had worked on this live event that would have 250 attendees in Atlanta and 8 speakers, and I just had to throw everything away? So this is where the aha moment came to me, and I said, well, I'm not going to give up. Because during the pandemic, women have the same questions. What do I do? And this is where the Women Thrive Summit came to life, to create a global event, inviting speakers from all around the world, from different backgrounds, experiences, ages, races, you name it. Women with different stories that can impact the lives of others. So that first year, we had 2,000 attendees. And same last year, we had 2,000 attendees last year for a Thrive Summit. And this year we're doing it again. So through the Women Thrive Summit now, we would have hosted 120 speakers on our stage in the last 3 years and impacted thousands of lives. And I'm really, really proud. This was another event that I did I spoke at for one of my clients, Natasha Rumbi, and she has the Baker Squad. She is incredible. She reached so much success, and she has been my mentoring client who came to us. Her business was just a passion project, and I helped her turn it all around, and now she does coaching. She has a academy where she teach women in baking how to make money online, how to make a difference. So she's learned some things from me and some other coaches, and now she's doing events. So this was an event that I spoke at last year in September, I believe, in London. And the energy was just amazing. So I also worked, as I mentioned, with Mr. Les Brown. And not only I have been interviewed on his stage, on his social media platform, and I really loved that. Was maybe 2 million people on his Facebook, but watched by a couple hundred people. And through his program, you see all the people here in this picture. I organized this event on one of the first calls with Mr. Les Brown. He said to me, well, you organize events. Well, Raimonda, I want you to organize some events for our speakers because their stories deserve to be heard. So after last year's summit, I took the leap to organize a Dare to Dream event. I used to mentor a group within his program, which was about 30 people, and run kind of an accountability program within the program. So I put together this event called Dare to Dream. There was about 23 or 24 speakers. And as a result, I joined a committee. So I was part of Mr. Les Brown's organizational committee, helping to organize events, which was one of them was Les Brown Experience in New York City, Hungry for Greatness. I didn't get to go there. I tried my best, but I got held up in the airport through the customs. And also I was co-host for the Hungry for Greatness event for Mr. Les Brown, which was their organized speaker showcase event. So this has been really an amazing experience, and I've learned so much from Mr. Les Brown in terms of leadership and empathy and, speaking. It has really changed my life. So very proud of this. And this is one of our trainings that you can see here, one of our nights together with the speakers, and we would spend nights. He would run his trainings. We would start for me at midnight or 1 o'clock, and I would stay up from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock to be part of these trainings. And this below, this is an event. This is the event that I have hosted for him. So it was just really an amazing experience, and connecting with different people from around the world and sharing our stories, hearing our stories, helping each other to improve. And yeah, I have learned so much on this journey. So I just want to quickly see if you have any comments, questions. Yes, Heather, let me see. I look to impact women to find their purpose and step into their greatness. Many women lose their identity and their families or careers, but they are so much more than that. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love that. Yes, I have a number of stories to share, not sure which one to pick. I want to impact the world. Love that, love that, love that. I'm working on a book. I'm planning to come out later this year. I'm a public speaker with faith-based conferences, and I'm ready to step into more stages this year. Amazing, Heather. Believe me, when I was on this program with Mr. Les Brown, this was like church every night, literally, because Mr. Les Brown is a believer. And when I say it's like church, we go deep and we have tears, and it was just a phenomenal experience. So just what adds to your expert authority? So when you step out as a speaker, you want to have a few things under your belt, all right? You want to have a few things under your belt when you're pitching yourself as a speaker. You want to have your story. You want to figure out which part of your story that you want to share, because you don't want to go on stage and share every story that you have been through, which to some extent I did a little bit of that today, because I want to make sure that you kind of understand, we get to know each other on a deeper level. But if you're delivering a keynote, you want to be very clear about which part of the story you are sharing and what is the purpose. What is the purpose of you sharing that story, right? Or an experience that you have been through. What have you learned through it that you can teach your audience as a result of you going through that story? You never share a story without a point, and you never make a point without sharing a story. And that's something I've learned on Mr. Les Brown's training. I want to ask you, what are you known for? Because what happens when you become a speaker? You want to be known for a particular subject or a niche. So when people thinking about who can I ask to speak on my stage, or who can I recommend to be on a particular stage, you want to be known for something. So claim your niche, claim your industry, claim your topic, right? And develop talks around that particular thing. Because if you're not known for anything, if you're too generic, you will never land speaking opportunities. And I get so many applications every year. We get hundreds of applications. And for us, the selection process takes at least 6 weeks to whittle down to our 30 speakers that you see on stage today. And a lot of people come unprepared. Let's say they are not clear about their message. They're not clear about their niche or what they stand for. And as an event organizer, well, if you're not clear who you are, how are the audience going to know who you are, right? And that's important. So what do you want to become known for in your industry? And please feel free sharing these in the chat so you can learn from each other as we go through this, or take notes, whatever is easier for you. And you want to have, after the events, you want to attract referrals, you want to attract clients, you want to have testimonials. So when you deliver a powerful speech and you make that connection, those things will come. And through you knowing what you stand for, you will develop thought leadership and you become an expert in your field. So next time, let's say, I have a lot of friends who do events, and as an event organizer, I tend to network with a lot of other event organizers and be reached out to for help and support for other events. So let's say I know what you stand for, I know what area of expertise you have, and I see a summit or an event that is, let's say, on spirituality or healing or mindset or fitness, health, or whatever. Straight away, I can pinpoint who's the speaker and what do they speak on. Can I refer them to you, to that particular event, right? Once you become known, the referrals and the clients will come. So consistent personal brand, right? What happens is, another mistake that a lot of people make is they want to be speakers, they put themselves forward, but when I look at their brand, their personal brand, it's not consistent. And I come across this many, many times over. And what happens is, even if we have great conversation, even if I think that you have powerful message and you great talk, but your personal branding and your online visibility doesn't match what you say, I lose trust and credibility. And if me as an organizer don't have that trust, credibility, and I don't see you as an authority, I don't want to put you on stage. Because once I put you on stage, I position you as the authority and the expert. So when people follow you through to your social media channels, to your website, I want that to say, I am an expert. But if your social media doesn't match what you say, or the talks that you pitch yourself for, and you don't even have any videos or nothing to say about the topic that you're saying that you're a speaker of or an expert of, that doesn't add up. So there is no trust. So what happens when you're a speaker and people listen to you on stage? They want to follow through to your website, to your social media. You want to create that instant trust. So everything that you've spoken on stage, they can see on your social media, right? So that way, it helps you. Consistent branding helps you charge higher prices for your services and what you do. Because one, you're clear on your message. Two, your branding is consistent. You create trust and you create credibility. Credibility these days is so, so important. And if you don't have that, that's going to be a problem. And when you do have that consistent branding, consistent in your messaging and who you are and what you stand for, you start to open doors to new opportunities. Then you can leave a comment on social media post, hey, this is me, I want to speak and I'm ready, right? So this is how you open doors to new opportunities, by being ready, by being positioned. Because like I said, I get approached by speakers all the time, say, can I have 5 minutes of your time? I just want to tell you my story. Great. But when I land on your Facebook profile or Instagram account, does it tell me the same story? Does it actually tell me any story at all? So that is something that I encourage all the speakers to do through when they before they apply to events. So how to get started with speaking opportunities. I'll go through some of the tips, but let me know if you have any questions. I definitely feel encouraged to answer them, and stick around till the end. I really want to make sure that you get so much value out of this. So at the end, you're like, wow, I feel like I'm ready. And you may need to change some things. You may need to go away and take some action in order for you to start attracting more speaking opportunities. So what do you need as a speaker in order to be well positioned and ready for those speaking opportunities? Because speaking opportunities are out there, but are you ready? Are you ready to put yourself out as a speaker? You want to have well positioned and powerful talk. The secrets to you attracting people to your talk or attracting opportunities for speaking comes down to the title of your talk. even if you're starting a podcast. The amount of listeners that your podcast episode will get comes down to the title of it. And there's ways of doing and writing powerful titles for your talk that will attract people. Now, next week, we have a summit. We have 30 speakers on our stage. You may not be able to attend all the 30 talks next week. It's probably impossible. Well, I don't know. I'll do the impossible of hosting all of them. But how do you choose which ones to attend and invest your time in? It comes down to the titles of those talks. So you want to have a well-positioned title and a powerful talk if you're going to be pitching yourself, especially if you're going to be pitching yourself as a professional speaker or even for a podcast. When you start to send out emails for a podcast, I get pitched for podcast interviews all the time. And I look at the titles that they're pitching to me. Is it relevant? Is it something that I am interested in as well? So you want to have defined topics of your expertise, maybe your signature talk that you want to sell. Professional photos, I cannot underestimate how important, I cannot tell you just how important professional pictures are. Professional pictures, and you've seen some of my pictures throughout the presentation that has been professionally taken. When you have professional pictures, you instantly send a message to an organizer to say, I'm serious about this. I'm serious about what I do and my personal brand. That way you gain more trust, more credibility, and you position yourself as an expert just by having professional pictures. I can't tell you enough how many times we have struggled or have not even taken on speakers because they didn't have professional pictures. So amazing women, well accomplished, very experienced, but they did not have pictures. Selfies not gonna cut it, right? You gotta have some pictures to go with it. It's gonna change everything for you. Speaker bio. I laugh because so many people want to do public speaking, but they don't have a speaker bio. How am I, as an event organizer, going to introduce you? Maybe you don't even have a professional title that I can call you on, right? So important. And you want to have variations of your speaker bio because that is needed wherever you go, whether you're pitching yourself for the media, for speaking, for podcasts, wherever you go, you need to have a speaker bio. You may want to develop speaker reel, videos of you speaking, so any past opportunities that you have done, really important. You want to have social media presence. Now, some summits, for me personally, I'm non-judgmental when it comes to how many followers you have, because I believe that everyone has a story. But some events will specify that you must have 10,000 followers or 5,000 followers minimum and a minimum of 5,000 people on your email list in order to get that speaking opportunity. So that means the preparation, if you want to land some of the speaking opportunities that are available, you want to start thinking, what do I need to prepare? What do I need to work on in order to position myself as that person who an event organizer cannot say no to? I can pitch myself to pretty much any speaking opportunity. Just last week, what happens with events? When we announce an event, so many people reach out to us and say, can I speak on your stage? Now, by that time, it's too late because we have already gone through the selection process. And our selection process and preparation process takes 3 months. But for some events, it's different. So I was sent an information last week or the week before about an event that's happening this Sunday. And I said to the organizer, can I please get on to be a speaker at your event? And when she looked at my social media, she already is aware of me because obviously she's following me and she sent me the invitation. She said, absolutely, I want to have you on my stage. Well, now that comes down to my social media presence, the amount of followers that we have, and the email list. That was no brainer for her, for me to promote her event to my audience. And I'm not saying that's the only thing that people will pay attention to, but it definitely helps. So you want to have that credibility and authority in your field, and that's going to help you. So some of you may be creating your own stage. So you may not be so far ahead to have thousands of followers or an email list, or have already created all of those assets that may be required in order for you to speak on stages. But before I had all of this, when I hosted my first event, I had no audience, I had no brand, I had no following, I had nothing. And I wasn't being called on stages, believe me. I wasn't getting these speaking opportunities. I wasn't getting podcasts. I wasn't getting in the media. Nobody cared. So what did I do when I didn't have the stages to speak on? I created my own. And this is how I started the Women in Business in 2017. I had this passion. I thought, well, why don't we just create our own event? And that first event, it was a free event. We had 65 seats and I had 125 people booked for this event. And I was just praying that not everyone will show up. I couldn't believe the success of it. And some of you mentioned today that you want to create your own events, you want to create your own podcasts. Great. This is where it all begins. You start with creating your own stages. Whether you want to do social media lives, whether you want to do clubhouse rooms, maybe your own events or mini summits, maybe you want to host a podcast. That's amazing. All of these things are within reach. You don't even need to go out or step out your front door in order to create your own stage. Start there. If you haven't got stages to speak on, create your own. Right? And I want you to put in the chat, I'm creating my own. If you're creating your own stage, put it in the chat. I'm creating my own, and tell me what it is. So you may be creating podcasts, maybe a YouTube channel, maybe you're just dabbling with videos and just putting it out onto social media. Whatever you're doing, it's powerful. And you want to be mindful about what you're sharing, how you're showing up, how you're using your story, how you're communicating with your audience through these channels. But build your own. If you don't have stages to speak on yet, build your own. Right? It's like that saying goes, well, if we women are not invited to a table, we're going to build our own. And that's what we've been doing. Well, within the Women in Business community, that's what we've done. So how to find stages to speak on? You want to research your industry. What's going on in the industry? You want to go on to things like Eventbrite, Meetup, social media, look on LinkedIn, research your industry, find out who are the event organizers, who are the people who are organizing these events. You want to get to know them. You want to start following some of your industry events, because a lot of the times events happen annually or twice a year. Like our event is an annual event. So every March, you can expect our event to take place. For those of who have been within our community for a while, they know it. And they wait for that email where we announce application opening. We keep our application open for 4 weeks. Within that window, they have to apply. And then it's a 6-week selection process, because I have to interview. Usually I interview more than 100 people for our events, and we get 300, 400, 500, 600 applications for our summit. So we have to go through all of that process to just pick 30, because we only have 30 spots available. If you can research the industry, or you can ask within your own network, who has an opportunity who knows an event organizer in this field, or who has a podcast on this topic. And you see how knowing your niche, your topic, your industry is so important, because then you can ask, then you can intentionally research what events would be suitable for you. Follow those events organizers, because event organizers pay attention. I pay attention to people who are in my community. I pay attention to people who are actively, proactively taking part in our community, who sign up to be a member, who speak or do lives or show up on social media. I follow these people. I connect within my community. And when time is right to invite them to a podcast, to an event, to apply for an event, there were times before we started these summits where I would pick up the phone to someone within my community and say, it's your time. And they're like, what? And I would say, this is your time. You need to get your application in to speak at our event. Like, why? What? I'm like, yes, I've been seeing your growth. I think you have an inspiring story. You need to apply. And I have put women on stage intentionally who I knew were the first time speakers, because I know it just takes that one push to get someone on stage. And after you've done it once, believe me, you will never, ever want to give up public speaking again. And I invite you to be part of communities like Women in Business. I host weekly mentoring calls within the Women in Business Club and accountability calls where we talk about these things, right? We talk about your story, we talk about your mission, your passion. I connect with my members every single week. And this is a community of like-minded people where you get support for your business, where you open new opportunities. You are in community which feels safe and supportive, right? So if you haven't checked out, go to womeninbusiness.club and check out our membership club. So steps after you have been confirmed as a speaker, and this is where a lot of people actually, I don't know, sometimes they lose motivation or life gets in the way. But if you're going to commit yourself to being a speaker, you want to commit yourself to the journey. And I always, when I say to people, when you speak on the Women Thrive Summit or our events, it's a journey. Because I don't just create an event, I'm actually creating an experience, not just for you as an attendee. I'm creating an experience for our speakers. And there's a process, not only just selection process, onboarding process. We create graphics, promotional assets. We have private Facebook group, we have a private chat, we have private Trello account where we go through that process. I encourage collaborations. I create partnerships between these speakers and create buddy system where they go on this journey together. And what happens when people go on this journey together, there's a lot of things that come up for them. They change their titles of their talk sometimes. Sometimes people get a little bit intimidated by other speakers, or they have fear of stage. Even women at the expert level go through this experience. So it's a really, really powerful experience, especially at the scale that we're doing at, where we have 30. Last year we had 42 speakers. This year we have 30. So when you're surrounded in such a big speakers community, it can be a bit intimidating. I've been part of one summit, not last year, the year before, I think. There was 130 speakers. Ladies, there was 130 speakers on this stage. Can you believe that? It was a 10 days event. But the organizer done such an incredible job engaging the speakers. It was phenomenal. As a speaker, I had an amazing experience, never mind the event. So anyway, you can read it on, I don't want to cover everything because I'm sure, we're coming up to an hour that we've been here already. If you have questions, let me just come back to some questions. Oh, Heather says, I see my buddy Marcus, love him. Yeah, Marcus is amazing. He's one of my mentors. Yeah, Marcus Black, what a powerhouse speaker. He's such a dear friend of mine. What are you looking for in personal branding when looking at speakers, Diana said. So Diana, consistency, clarity, authority, credibility, trust. And what I mean when I say authority, I'm just going to stop sharing for a minute. Credibility and authority, right? Because sometimes we may have a brand and social media presence, but we may not have that credibility. We may not have the influence and authority. And those things are different. Just having influence and having authority is actually two different things as well. So I look at various things that plays a part in selecting the speaker. And I only say this because I've been through so much experience with speakers where on the outside, it looks very credible. It looks great. But then you realize when you go underneath the bonnet, some things could be off. And I actually made this mistake, and I fessed up to this last year, where a speaker pitched herself to us, and her following was probably around 700,000 followers. And she wanted to do speaking on our stage, and I thought, wow, amazing. So we connected. It was great energy. I was like, wow, really nice lady. We could connect on so many things. And as the process went on, I realized that she wasn't bringing in any audience. And I started to question what happened. How come she has so many followers, but she brought 1 or 2 people into the summit because we track her. And here's where this little secret unfolded. She had fake followers. And my heart just crashed at that stage for making such silly mistake and not doing more due diligence, because me as an event organizer, it comes down on me to see how credible the person is. So it's not just on what's on a face value. I got to know that the person is credible, that they have the values, that, once you're listening to that speaker and maybe you choose to go on and work with them, they are credible, right? Because it's my credibility on the line when I put on speakers that this person is who they say they are. And they actually have that influence and authority, and, they are true. So there's a lot of pressure on us as organizers to do that. Heather says, I was just putting sessions on my calendar. The titles are amazing. Can you give oh, amazing. Thank you, Heather, for the titles of the summit. Can you give examples and tips around speaker bios and variations? So Diana, there are a few different ones. Usually you want to write them in third person. And there is a long version and a short version, right? Short version is for short introductions when people are speaking. And then there are longer versions which would give credibility. There is a lot of technical aspects to having a good bio and different types of bios that you want to use, but I'm not sure we've got enough time. Heather says, Alexandra, I'm creating my own stage. Amazing. And Heather says, podcast, Facebook community, and Clubhouse. Amazing. Amazing. I'm so glad that you ladies are creating your own stages. Keep those comments, questions coming. I'm here to support you. So let's share my screen and go through. There's not much left. So if you have any questions, have a think about it now towards the end. So I might have to skip through things. So 10 things to do to boost your speaker profile. This might be a good picture for you to take of the screen. You want to have a speaker profile. You want to have your signature talks. You may want to have a speaker showcase reel from your existing content. So that's like a little sizzle reel to show you on stage, show you speaking. So this is 60 to 90 seconds mini video of different ways, different, different opportunities that you have had. Share your story consistently. So if you want to be landing speaker opportunities regularly, you want to share your story regularly, because you don't know who's watching and who's reading your story and who might be inspired and want to invite you for their talks. You want to build your social media presence. That's important, like I said to you, but true, honest, engaged, real social media presence, not fake followers, all right? Just gonna put it out there genuinely, because even some speakers come and they have huge audience or big audience, but their engagement is low. That means they don't have the authority. You want to also have that authority and influence with your audience. A couple other things to do. You want to practice and speak regularly. The more often you speak, the better you will become. The more practice you will have, the better you will refine your talks. And when it comes to speaking, you will just be able to speak just like that. You want to get featured in the media, and I know sometimes it might not be easy, but even writing articles and stories and, putting yourself out there, or even, being part of our community as well, will really help you put yourself out there more as a speaker and an expert and feature into media. Create more and regular video content to promote yourself. Again, if you're taking a screenshot, make sure you tag me. I will make sure to reshare it either at Women in Business Club, or you see my Instagram handle below. So I'd love to see if you're enjoying this live, or this whether you're watching this workshop live or replay. I would love for you to take a screenshot and tag me. And you want to get paid for your speaking, for your expertise and speaking, and now there you're spending more time. So there are ways to monetize your speaking. Now I want to share some details. We have open a Speakers Academy. And this is our opportunity to train speakers, because as I said, we have many speakers who come to our stages and they simply are not prepared. They may not have the visibility, they may not have bio, the preparation, their talks. There are so many different parts when it comes to speaking, and I believe that it's a journey. Like when you're an entrepreneur, you're learning skills, you're constantly improving, you're constantly getting better. So we open Speakers Academy that is going to start right after the summit. So summit ends next Saturday, and we're going to start the Speaker Academy training. So this Speaker Academy is for women who are looking to take their speaker career to that next level. If you want to work on your speaker profile, you want to attract more speaking opportunities, you want to put yourself out there as an expert, you want to build your authority. So this Speaker Academy is my little baby that I have created. And over the years, I've also worked with many speaker trainers who I will be inviting to be trainers within our academy. So I'm taking on people who would like to be part of our training program. This is a super affordable way to work with me directly now, which I've never done this before. So the Speakers Academy, and I'll share a link for you ladies to check it out. So the Speakers Academy is where your story becomes your signature talk to impact lives globally. This is your opportunity to create your talk, your signature talk, and become a speaker and take your career to that next level. You may have thought, okay, I want to do more public speaking, I want to launch my own podcast or event, but you really have not taken that leap. You haven't really put yourself out there, or maybe you're worried that I don't have all these pieces to the puzzle yet. I don't have a speaking bio, I don't have a sizzle reel, I don't know how to do it. And it's okay, because I worked with hundreds of women who have years and years of experience in business and in their niche. This doesn't necessarily have to be a skill that you may have acquired, and that's okay. So in this training, in this Speaker Academy that we have launched, we will help you to build that confidence, to become a better speaker, whether it's to do with your mindset, being more intentional, so you can become an international speaker. And it's easier than you think once you have all the pieces to the puzzle. We will help you prepare all your speaker assets, your promotional assets, your speaker bio, your collateral that you need in order to pitch yourself to professional organizers, to paid speaking events, to podcasts, and other, even media. Once you have all those pieces to the puzzle, you'll be able to pitch yourself comfortably to the media and land those speaking opportunities. So eventually you can become the sought after speaker who people say, hey, I want you on my stage, and you don't need to reach out to people anymore. I want you to be positioned as the expert in your niche and become that person. I want to teach you and help you be accountable. So I want to teach you how to, and keep you accountable of how to find new speaking opportunities. And furthermore, I want to put you on stages, whether it's our stage or stages of my friends who are event organizers, and I have so many of them. I want to help you craft your signature talk for any possible stage. So whether you're thinking about podcasts, international stages, live stages, virtual stages, I want to help you craft your talk. And it takes practice, right? And I love this exercise that we used to do with Mr. Les Brown, that we have a topic or a thing, that a talk of ours that becomes your signature talk, and we create that signature talk into 1 hour keynote, into 30 minutes keynote, into 15 minutes keynote, 10 minutes and 5 minutes talk. So the same subject, same story, but you can chop it into, it could be just a 5 minutes opportunity, right? So you may be invited to participate I've been in these summits where I've only had 10, 15, 20 minutes on the stage. And how can you make that impact? Same story, same message, powerful, but you only have 5 minutes to make an impact. What are you going to do? You have to be very concise, and you have to touch the points that you need to touch without waffling your words. So, and I'll show you how to make money on stage and get paid speaker, whether you want to be actually paid as a speaker, or generate money from your speaking opportunities. That's going to be powerful. And I want to help you develop your storytelling skills because that's important. And as I told you, your story and your name could be mentioned outside of that room, in rooms that your feet have not stepped into, when you tell an audience your story in a way that captivates not only their ears, but their hearts and their souls, and it moves them to action. The point is, if you're going to deliver a talk, you don't want to waste your time just delivering a talk. You want to move people into action. You want to share something that will transform them, transform their mind, take them to places that they can't go themselves, right? You create a shift in the mindset. And if you create a shift in the mindset with your talk, then you've done your job right. Then that means you left a lasting impression. Once you make that shift in somebody's mind, that's it. You are the expert, right? And this training is for existing or aspiring speakers. Both, we're going to help you prepare. This is also for authors, for those, for experts, for coaches, for maybe CEOs who are looking to take their powerful stories and turn them into speaking careers and opportunity for visibility and more reach. So what I'll do, I have one more slide just to share what's included in it. I'd love to, if you have any questions, can you create a speaker reel from virtual talks? Yes, absolutely, Dee. How do I grow my email list? My IG followers are 650,000, but I haven't moved them over to my email list. There are many ways of doing it. So hold on a minute. Let me share the link to the Speaker Academy. If you're looking to become a speaker, I invite you to have a look at it. I invite you to join. If you want to join today, and I'll give you something to work. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. So I have one more slide. So before we come back to main screen and I answer your questions, just one more slide. So go over to that page, check it out. So what's included in this program? And there's a special bonus. If you do want to enroll today, I'm actually going to give you one-on-one session that is worth £900 today. If you enroll in this program today, you get a one-on-one coaching session with me, and I will be able to answer all your strategic questions and support you along on this journey. So this is really a 6-month program. You can continue for 12 months. But in this Speaker Training Academy, you will get 2 hours intensive training with a master trainer, myself, or a guest expert every single week. So on a weekly basis, we'll be doing training, we'll be working on your bios, on your mindsets, we'll be practicing. I will get you to practice and become a powerful, confident speaker. So you can elevate your career, your expert status, and you can really stand out. We'll practice for feedback and help you prepare yourself for speaking opportunities, position yourself as an expert, get some clarity on your topics, your messaging, and your signature talks. We'll deliver weekly accountability and help you secure speaking opportunities. So every week, we'll be putting it on you to make sure you're securing speaking opportunities, whether it's like lives or collaborations or podcasts. I want to make sure that every single week you are booked in for some kind of speaking opportunity. Imagine how much that could change your life. Imagine if every week you're speaking on stage to 20 people, 30 people, 50 people, 100, 200 people, right? Every week, that's a new audience. And this is the secret. You don't necessarily have to take people from your social media onto your email list. Every time you speak on stage, you will generate new people onto your email list because you will be giving out a gift, right? When you give out a gift, people will want to be on your list. They will be wanting to sign up for that free thing that you're giving them. And that you do through public speaking. So we have some training, we have some templates, resources of how to create your media bio, your speaker bio, how to write your pitches, how to write your bio that you will need for speaking opportunities. So we have all of those templates, resources, and we're building that out. I even have connections of speakers, event organizers that you can tap into through my network. I want to start creating monthly speaking events through our network. So this is something I've been aspiring to do for a while, but last year I had to take a step back just to do my personal healing. But I'm so determined to do these events every month. So January, February, December, January, February, we've done speaker showcases for the Women Thrive Summit, and they are so amazing. We were 2 or 3 hours event, and through these events, you actually get to speak at our stage that we promoted to 600,000 followers, right? So that means your name will go out to our platform on a monthly basis. Obviously, we will have selection process, who's more ready. Maybe you'll get to speak next month, the following month, but I want to create these events where we invite our network, we invite our past speakers, our audience, so they get to see you. That's a reach to our audience, to a brand new audience every month, right? And you be at the forefront because you are in Speaker Academy. Private community, so you'll get a community of those speakers where you're working on this together, and every week you can do your homework within the Facebook group or whatever group we create, and then you can keep each other accountable, give feedback, create that energy of support, accountability. You watch each other grow. So month on month, you're getting better. You create your media bar, you put it on a Facebook group. We'll have a look at it. We'll give you feedback. The other people jump in and give you feedback. You watch each other grow. And this works so well in a group environment where we're supporting each other. And it's super affordable. At the minute, it's only £300. So £300 a month, that's less than 100, that's like £70 a week. That's like £10 a day. And imagine with that kind of investment, just £10 a day, right? You get onto stage every single week. And I guarantee you, if you have a product to sell or coaching program to sell, you will start to convert your audience into paid clients within the first month, because you have been trained not only how to speak powerfully, how to deliver your message, but how to captivate your audience and take them to action. You want them to follow through. You will have a lead magnet, take them onto your email list, and then we'll teach you how to monetize it. So you want to move people from sitting on their seats to actually buying into your products and services. And we're going to teach you how to do that. So this investment of £300 a month is going to pay back. It could pay back within the first speaking engagement you get. I guarantee you. If you have a product to sell and you have an audience, this investment is literally going to pay back for itself and 10 times more. So this is what you get. You'll get connections to our own event organizers. We have a podcast list as well. So you'll get access to our podcast database, which is really powerful. You don't even have to do your own research of how to and where to reach out for speaking opportunities. And if you enroll and you follow through the whole program for 6 months minimum, you will be featured on the Women Thrive Summit next year. This is a guarantee. If you follow through for the 6 months on this training program and you engage fully and you do the work, I promise you I will feature you next month on our summit. Now, if you enroll today, like I said, we will get on to one-on-one coaching call. So if you enroll today in this program, I will be holding one-on-one onboarding calls. That's 1 hour call next week. Not next week, the week after. Beginning of April, we're going to be jumping on a call to work on your strategy, on your own strategy. And there's a way to upgrade it. If you want to invest £1,000 a month, we will have a monthly coaching call, and you will have access to me personally whatever day you want, every day on Voxer or any voice-based application. So that means if you upgrade to £1,000 investment a month, you get to work with me one-on-one, be in the Trainers Academy, and have voice support whenever you need it. Because when you go through process like this, and let's say you get a big speaking opportunity and oh, right, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to position my freebie or this or that. instead of posting it in a group and waiting for the answer, you can access me directly. And every month we can work on a strategy that is very, very specific to you. So I'll take you through monetization strategies of how to position yourself as an expert. We'll dig into your niche of, where you are and how to leverage, because there's a way of leveraging your existing speaking opportunities as well for more, right? Furthermore, like the speakers who have been featured on our stage right now, even just yesterday, somebody reached out to me, one of the speakers said to me, I just got a speaking opportunity at a big conference because someone has seen me on your podcast. Another lady, when I announced this to the speakers, the other lady said, Ray, I got a speaking opportunity because I was on your speaker showcase in January. I got a paid speaking opportunity because I was on your stage. So there is a ripple effect. When you become a speaker, when you start booking yourself on podcasts, on events, you're starting to be seen and heard, and your story goes out there and being heard on stages that you haven't even spoken on or in rooms that you haven't even stepped in, right? I can see someone enrolled. Congratulations. When you get to that stage, you are going to be creating ripple effect and booking yourself in more and more speaking opportunities. Congratulations. Who do we have that just signed up? Oh my goodness. I can't see your name. Oh my goodness. Ali, Asperali? Who just said Alexandra? Alexandra, I don't know why I don't have your name. Congratulations. I'm so honored you have chosen to work with me, and you have chosen to work with me on the upgraded package. That means we get to work every single month. I'm so excited. I'm so honored. This is the thing, ladies. And if you want to come on video right now to say hello, if you want to maybe ask me a question, I'd love to invite you. So let me know in the chat if you want to come on, because here's the thing. This is the beginning of your journey. This is the beginning of you using your story to move forward, to impact people. I can't tell you how honored I feel when I share my story and the feeling that I get when people say, you have touched my heart. This has been motivational. This has really inspired me. So I see Alexandra. So let's see whether we can promote you to panelist and invite you to speak. I'm excited to congratulate you to join our Speaker Academy. Thank you, Diana. Appreciate it. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm so good. So nice to meet you, Alexandra. Thank you for sticking around throughout the session.
Yeah, thank you. It's been really powerful, really inspiring.
Oh, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, so I am a writer first. I was a journalist for many years. And when my daughter went to college, I knew that I wanted to reinvent myself. I found life coaching. I did a couple programs. And a couple years ago, I launched myself as a life coach. And then in the last year, I become an empty nest life coach. Yeah. And I can tell it's my purpose. It is connecting with these women that I went through the same experience of one child, and she was my identity. She was my life. When she went to college, my heart sort of just marched out of state with her. Mm-hmm. And my identity, my voice, everything was gone. Oh, wow. So I really related to you saying, about losing the voice. So then I just started helping. I was helping kind of college girls and then college moms. And then I started to get these empty nest moms. And the minute I honed in on that particular audience, and my experience just seemed to resonate. And the more I listened to them and more, I was like, wow, I think I can help them. And I know I have a specific powerful story. I think I just don't know how to say it in a way that's not too dramatic or something.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited because what you're doing is using the experience that you have been through to now impact other people. And what happens, especially as a coach, you feel empathy for people who are going through this very same experience, because you have been through it. And through the power of your story and what you've gone through and how it felt, you will be able to connect and attract the same people who have gone through it or struggling with it. And yeah, I'm very excited to get to know you, to welcome you to the training program, and 3, to actually work with you and, just support you on this journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've always been more comfortable writing than speaking, but through the last few months and maybe year, I realized it's the sharing of story. It's the somebody hearing you. Like I went on a podcast and told just an off the cuff story. I got more love and interaction and wows from that. And I thought, wow, that story, but it's like you don't even know which story it is that's going to impact them. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Oh, I'm so grateful. Just want to let the ladies know, for anyone who might having to jump off, just want to say thank you all so much for being here. It's been amazing. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out after the session next week. Of course, it's a summit. Are you attending the summit, Alexandra?
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm so excited. Any questions that you may have? Did you have any questions before we kind of wrap up for today?
No, I think it was so thorough. I took a lot of notes. I'm looking forward to the one-on-one and speaking with you, and I'm looking forward to the summit too. And I hope that I can be up there next year if it works out. Yeah, I think it's the time. So I'm looking forward to getting better and better.
I really feel like this year, and this is the theme for the summit, women rising and thriving. And I feel like we've been through so much, and in a lot of ways women have been held back or have not been able to rise to their power because we hold ourselves back, sometimes ourselves, not necessarily anybody else. And I just feel like this year is really about women rising to who we are, to our authentic selves, to our power, to what we're capable of, to our belief in ourselves. And when we do that, we start to thrive in so many ways. And that's why I'm so excited that women are starting to own that power, step into those shoes, and just make a huge, huge impact. So Alexandra, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for bringing me on. Appreciate it.
I look forward to seeing you at the summit, and reach out. I'll send you an email and make sure we get booked in in April and get you started with the program as well. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm just going to see whether don't know, how can we, hold on a minute. That's fine. So just want to say thank you all for attending. It was so lovely to meet Alexandra, and all of you who have engaged in the conversation today in this workshop. If you feel called to, feel free to share the Women Thrive Summit with somebody who you know. Maybe there is a woman in your life, in your network, in your community who may want to attend it, or maybe this training is for somebody as well. Maybe you know another woman who wants to learn more about speaking skills. I appreciate you for being here. I hope all of you walking away with some valuable tips, inspiration, just feel much more empowered, regardless whether you want to be part of our Speakers Academy, whether you want to go on to be part of the community or not. I just want to say, keep believing that there is magic in your story. There is a power in your story. And when you share it, you're going to make ripple effect, and you're going to affect so many lives. It has been such a pleasure, ladies. Thank you for your patience, for staying over time to hear me speak. And for anyone who may have watched this on replay, I know many ladies couldn't make it live. I honor your time. I appreciate you. And I really look forward to seeing you all at the summit next week. For now, I will be closing out, and let me just see whether there has been any questions. Alexandra, we're going to work on your email list. But yeah, I appreciate you all. Have a good rest of your evening or day, and see you all soon next week. Take care for now. Bye-bye.